right. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just been attacked by Jasper. And Garnet was reformed for the first time in 3 months. Now, it has been roughly, let's say, another 5 months. And things are still getting out of order. It seems like the only time Pearl and Garnet ever meet is whenever Ruby and Sapphire fuse to form Garnet in order to fight against this Jasper and this Paradox. Now, it is approaching summer vacation, and today was actually Deku's last day at school. Him actually running home and trying to find everyone. He would run inside and actually see Lion, as he would just tell Lion that they're going to go see the gems. And that he's going to be staying over at the temple tonight. Because after all this started happening, Pearl decided to put some of her money she got for her pro hero job into making a bit of a place to live. At least something. She wanted to at least have the option for Izuku to spend the night at the temple. Along with that, Hisashi was at least able to agree to it. Because after an incident roughly 2 months ago, Jasper sort of attacked Midoriya. She was wandering the streets and just looking around. As soon as she saw him, she nearly attacked him. However, Sapphire was there to step in, along with Amethyst. Her coming face to face with this gem for the first time. The two had a bit of a scuffle and a fight. Amethyst got poofed, and then whenever she reformed, she left, not really saying much. Now, Deku is still having a problem with that though. He is staying at the temple tonight, because apparently they're going to be going on a mission, getting home late, and then he's going to be training in the morning. And he actually has invited Mina over to train, since she's kind of been getting sucked into these scenarios also. Now, Deku, he is at the temple, unpacking a bag and actually running inside, seeing this new house they have. Apparently it took a minute, and the city were a bit surprised. There was already a property out here. They knew about it, but they didn't realize that it was gem property, as we'll call it. As during the entire time they got everything set up, Deku actually at least living at the house for a while. He's supposed to be spending summer vacation here. He got the okay from Pearl got the okay from Hisashi, and Mina got the okay for her parents to at least go visit her friend and hang out with him, since they don't want her just to be stuck inside all day. Along with the fact that the knowledge his friend's parents, or at least caretakers, are the crystal gems is at least comforting to them. So that means that things won't be, well, she won't get hurt if she spends time with them. However, at least one of them may be called away. Now, Deku and Pearl would have gone on their mission, along with Deku actually at least carrying around his mom's sword. He did eventually find her scabbard on the strawberry battlefields, and at least take it with him. The sword is still a bit odd though. He is not really used to using it, He's used to using his other weapons. And today they're going after another corrupted gem. The one in an ice cave. This being a bit more difficult. The two would use the warp pad, get to the location, and begin their hike. It being about 3 hours, and at least a very, very calm walk. Until they do need to start climbing. Deku and Pearl actually at least doing so. Eventually getting to the top of the mountain, after another 45 minutes. To which they would have walked into the ice cave. Getting really, really careful with this. Whenever they do come to a wall or the end of the cave, Pearl is confused. She knew that there has to be something here. Deku just stepping forward and taking a deep breath in. Pearl going to tell him to wait before he does at least blast the wall down with fire breath. And then walk forwards, punching through it. The wall somewhat at least crumpling and exposing something. The corrupted gem basically smashing through it and throwing Steven, or Midoriya, away. Deku at least slowing himself down in midair, as he would lower to the ground and immediately draw the blade, beginning to rush forwards. As so does Pearl. And the fight would begin. The corrupted gem is, I believe, Larmar? I think that's how you pronounce it. The creepy one in future that makes ice statues and wants to make Steven scream. Yikes. Anyways. This Larmar, as I'll call him, or corrupted gem, would be fighting against Steven. Midoriya, not Steven. And trying to at least defend itself. Well, these two begin to fight with it. Deku actually thinking for a minute. He needs to use his fire breath. If he can use it, then it can make things a lot easier. Him taking a deep breath in and turning. Bringing his hand up to create a shield. Defending against the attack the corrupted gem just sent at him as he would somewhat slide backwards. Throwing the shield forwards and smashing it into the corrupted gem. The gem actually getting sent flying. Deku then just throwing down the shield and letting out a large burst of fire. Pearl telling him to stop. The corrupted gem flying up into the air and hitting the wall, as Deku's fire breath would hit it. Now, as soon as that does happen, this would be whenever Deku, he would be in a bit of trouble. This somewhat upset the cave, along with the fact that it was rapidly getting hotter. Now, with that happening, the cave is beginning to melt and get more unstable, so it is going to collapse. Deku running in and actually stabbing into the gem, as it would poof. Deku then picking it up and bubbling it, before sending it away. Looking at Pearl and her just doing one thing, running over and picking him up, as she would bubble him. Deku just kinda confused. Before he can really even say anything, Pearl would just send him away. The last thing Deku sees is the cave collapse around her. And he's kinda scared, since Pearl's now left alone, and he's not really sure how he's supposed to get out of here. This isn't supposed to be this way. Where even am I? As Midoriya would try to pop this bubble, at least being able to start tearing it apart. Whenever he does focus on one point and tries to pry it open, he would be able to pop it, which would send him smashing into the ground. And he's looking around. He's in the burning room, in the temple. Garnet's room, I believe. Now, he begins to walk around and look at all these gems. There's quite a bit of them. So, what does this mean? Now, just look up. seeing thousands of gems in bubbles, kinda just a bit confused. He's not really sure what to say about this. Are all these gems corrupted? That doesn't make sense. How? Wait. The corruption blast. That does. Well, okay. I at least know that much. Wait. How much history do I not know? There's Pink Diamond, or Mom, somewhere in between her trying to take over the Earth, then her rebelling. What is in between all those? There's something there. Deku trying to figure this out. He remembers Pearl saying a couple thousand years ago she was given the Earth. So exactly when did she rebel then? He does know that gems pop up sometimes, or are even mentioned, in human history. So, this is going to become a lot more difficult. Deku just doing one thing. He would be walking around more, and eventually find the door, as it would open and he would walk through. Kind of a bit confused, walking out of the temple. As he does so, Garnet would come bursting through the door, and look at Stephen. Or Midoriya. Deku just immediately remembering what happened, as he would just tell Garnet that they have a problem with Pearl. Her running over and immediately just getting on the warp pad, and warping away, as Midoriya does actually jump in to the lights, and go with her. Now, Deku just asking Garnet exactly where is Amethyst, and if she's going to be coming with them. Garnet just saying no. Amethyst is somewhere else right now. And whatever is going on with her, she will figure it out. Deku just asks exactly what does she mean. Amethyst is a crystal gem too. Yes, I understand, but as Midoriya would just look at her, and somewhat get angry, saying that so am I. Somewhat hesitating for a second, but at least trying to sound assertive. Her just looking at him, saying of course he's a crystal gem, as it would finally arrive at the destination. And well, Amethyst, Garnet would just pick up Midoriya, and immediately bolt off in that direction, asking Steven where is Lion, or even asking Midoriya where is Lion. Deku just saying that he's not sure. He can go back and look. Her just stopping for a second, letting him down, setting him down, and then telling him to go. Slowly try and catch up. As she would just bolt off in the direction. Deku watching her basically instantly just go out of his vision. Kinda confused. She's very fast. Now, after that happens, this is whenever Deku just run back over to the warp pad. It would be about a couple hundred feet away, but whenever he does get on it, he would just warp back to the temple. As soon as he does so, he'd go bursting out his front door, and begin to try and look for Lion. Now, whenever he does look around the beach, he doesn't really see anything happening. Until one thing does. Someone would come walking up, and Deku's not too sure as to who it is. He does at least keep himself visible, but as soon as he sees who it is, he would be a bit more surprised. It's Amethyst. As he would just run over, asking exactly what is going on and what is she doing here. Her just looking at him and, well, not really saying anything. as she would just expose her gem, showing that it's a bit damaged, or at least scraped and cracked. Deku just taking a deep sigh, as he would just heal her and restore her crack. Now, after that does happen, he would just say that they have a bit of a problem. It's Pearl. Her just saying, of course it's always Pearl. What did she do now? Deku just saying that she's stuck under, well, they were fighting a corrupted gem and she got stuck under a mountain. It sort of just started collapsing. I'm not sure if she's okay or not. And with this somewhat, well, having her eyes widen at that statement, as she would just run over to the warp pad, asking him exactly where is it. Deku just saying somewhere cold before she does warp away. Now, as soon as that happens, Deku would look around a bit more, calling his dad and finding out where Lion is. Lion is apparently at Midoriya's home. Midoriya running home, getting Lion, and Lion warping over to the mountains, as Midoriya would begin to use his fire breath, trying to at least melt and expose ice, and looking through the rubble. This being a bit more difficult, and very stressful. Deku beginning to burn quite a lot of it, along with Garnet eventually arriving after about, well, 30 to 40 minutes. Now, whenever she does arrive, she would have been a bit more curious. Izuku is tossing aside large piles of rubble, or at least large pieces of ice, along with melting quite a bit of them. Her just looking at him and asking him if he's found her yet. Deku just saying no as he just keeps throwing pieces aside, and melting what he can. These two defusing and Ruby actually trying to help, as they try to burn through quite a lot of the ice. Eventually, Deku would have found Pearl. However, she's a bit more damaged. Her gem is cracked. In fact, it's nearly broken in two. And he's kind of stressed out about this, as he does try and restore it. He would have been able to at least heal its crack, or at least make sure it doesn't break. The damage, though, is a bit too much. He would have been able to heal about half of it, and whenever he does say that to Ruby, she would immediately look at Sapphire. Sapphire just saying that they need to go to Rose's fountain. Them heading there and actually restoring it, after jumping onto Lion. Now, as they would have arrived, they would begin to at least try and fix it. And things would be getting a bit more complicated. Whenever they do get rid of all the vines and stuff around the garden, things would have gotten at least a little bit better. The place properly blooming in, them throwing Pearl's gem in, as they would have watched the crack fully heal. And Deku would learn about exactly what happens whenever Pearl gets injured. Now, Garnet would just explain that usually whenever Pearl gets poofed like this, it would take a bit of time. What was it? I believe it was between a couple weeks and a month. Deku just asked what she means, as she would just explain. She believes that Pearl will reform in about 2 weeks, possibly even 3. Deku kind of surprised, as we'll catch in the next day. Eventually, Garnet found Amethyst, and at least try to talk with her. Now, after that does happen, they would have all gone back to the temple. Now, whenever they do get back to the temple, things would be a bit odd. Whenever they get there, Amethyst would have left immediately, and whenever Ruby and Sapphire defuse, Deku would have stopped them from leaving. Him getting a bit more fed up with this, asking them exactly why do they keep doing this to themselves. They keep forming Garnet whenever they think they need her. What does she mean to them? Why? Why do you keep defusing if you don't want to be together? Him somewhat demanding an explanation. Taking them aback a bit. Sapphire didn't really expect this, or even predict it. In fact, it was one of the things that wouldn't happen, or, well, just seemed too out of character for him. Ruby just explaining. Sapphire, or, well, Garnet, she's a bit more special. She's the both of us that she's our best characteristics brought forwards, and our worst at the same time. She is her own person. And, well, right now she is unstable. Deku asking what they mean. Both of them just looking at each other. And just saying, whenever a fusion becomes unstable, things get weird. It's sort of like a Sapphire just bring her hands up, trying to find the best words that would fit this description. Ruby just saying it's like, illusions, or the world just not seeming right around you. It's more complicated to try and explain. So just don't worry, okay? As Ruby would go to leave, Sapphire just standing there. As soon as Ruby leaves, Deku would turn. Sapphire just saying that the answer to your question is going to be a bit more surprising than you think. Deku looking confused for a second before he does remember. Future vision. Got it. Her just saying that if you're going to ask me exactly why our fusions are unstable, or why we won't talk about it, it's because we're not really sure how to. I'm not sure Ruby would even understand. I hardly understand it anymore. Sapphire actually getting a bit more, well, scared at saying this. Saying that in all the futures she has ever even seen, this is worse than the time she thought her life was ending. Deku kinda confused, as she would explain the story of how her and Ruby became Garnets, and exactly what happened that day. She thought that she was going to be shattered. And, well, it was life-changing. Ruby sort of just jumped in the way, and grabbed her. The two formed Garnets then and there. That was the first time she was born, or even came into existence. So, the reason why we're even part of the rebellion was because that day whenever Pearl tried to kill Sapphire, or kill me, they tried to shatter us, because they thought I would have been more dangerous alive. Then, we sort of just threw ourselves off the sky arena. That was where this all happened. As she would stand up, going to walk out of the house, turning back to Midori and just saying that Garnet and I have a lot to deal with. I believe you do too. Midori just saying one thing. Of course you have a lot to deal with. You can see every possible future. But can I just say one thing, Sapphire? One thing I know you need to hear. You've probably heard me say it 1,000 times. As she would turn, expecting him to say everything will be alright. As soon as she goes to open her mouth, Midori would just say as loud as he can that they will change the future. Her actually somewhat being taken aback, and clutching onto the door a little harder, as she would smile. He is a lot like Ruby now. Then again, she can't really blame him. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that is a good part to leave this off on, and I do hope you guys enjoyed. Now, if you guys are wondering where I have been for most of my day and have not been recording, it's a bit more complicated. I've had to work on my car most of my day, still did not fix the issue I'm having with it, and then I did have to go Mother's Day shopping, which is a lot harder than it sounds. Anyway guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day.